Great. Hello, everyone. So I'm Helen Hambly. I'm at the University of Guelph in Ontario, Canada. And I lead a project that really is focused on rural broadband here in Canada and the digital infrastructure that is changing agriculture. But I'm also involved with a number of initiatives at the global level, including in my role as a member of the board of the International Potato Center and a former chair of the roots, tubers, and banana research program in the CGIAR. So I'm really presenting today on this very focused topic of capacity. What does it mean to develop the capacity of on-farm experimentation? And I'm going to touch on a few key examples and issues related to capacity. To begin with, I want to really focus on the fact that digital transformation as we know it, including the advent of more fixed wireless and mobile broadband connections in all countries around the world, is changing agriculture. And this digital transformation involves capacity development because technology is often moving more quickly than the people and the processes in situ can adapt to this innovation and can adapt and adopt new behaviors. So the speed at which digital transformation is occurring has an implication on capacity. And if we understand capacity, we know it's not just about individual behavior. There's a lot of focus on, especially in economics, on individual behavior where digital agriculture is concerned. But in fact, it's actually a set of three dimensions. One is individual, one is organizational, and also the network level, which is groups of organizations. And then the third is a systemic. It's the system-wide level of capacity development. Capacities for transformation really have to be identified, they have to be managed, they have to be developed. Why? Because digital transformation will also disrupt capacities. It will create some resistance to change at the individual and organizational level. And the system has to have a number of capacities in place. Business and finance have been mentioned today, technical capacities, certainly leadership, and there are a number of specific competencies that need to be developed. So projects around the world are starting to focus on capacity and competencies for digital agriculture and digital transformation in the sector. I want to highlight a few. The first one is a collaborative project initially started with University of Wayamba in Sri Lanka, University of Alberta here in Canada, and University of Guelph, and now in its next phase, collaborating with the University of West Indies. And this is a technology stewardship program with agricultural extension and advisory service representatives, where the focus is on developing the capacity for agricultural extensionists to work in a digital habitat. And the process used is a community of practice method, and there's a number of workbooks developed in this project as well. The second example I want to flag is one that I have been involved with for a number of years. I was 9 years on the board of Farm Radio International. It is a well-known NGO based here in Canada, but decentralized across sub-Saharan Africa that focuses on radio broadcasting and specifically collaborating with community radio stations across sub-Saharan Africa. And the latest iteration of broadcast radio is called Radio Plus. Radio Plus is the media convergence of new information and communication technology with broadcast radio. And this is important because not only is it often said that radio, and particularly community radio, is rural Africa's internet, it is because there are a number of different applications that can ride on broadcast radio. And broadcast radio is an ideal media because it broadcasts in local language. It does not rely on written literacy. And the convergence with new information communication technology in certain apps like AgriShare is profiled here is really quite exciting. And we can see how different medias converge, different software and hardware and devices can converge to create disruptive forces like Uber for tractors or Uber for farm trucks in the case of AgriShare. Third example is from here in Ontario, some recently completed graduate research where the focus has been on braiding knowledge with drone technology combined with participatory geographic information systems and participatory communication processes. We call this D3, drones, data, and deep communication. And in working with two use cases, one is an agricultural cooperative in Northern Ontario, adapting to climate change and seeking organic certification. And the other use case has been with an Indigenous community. We refer to them as a First Nation that has been involved with using drones, data, and deep communications to establish their knowledge and braid the knowledge or weave the knowledge in with the knowledge of researchers and technologists and geotechnicians to help support the mapping of their natural resource base. Now, the other dimension of capacity that was mentioned and discussed by Myrtle right at the beginning of today's seminar is institutional change. There is a capacity needed for institutional change to really ensure that innovations scale up and out. And scaling up and out has been well discussed in the literature. I'm not going to repeat that here, but really it is a question of finding out what works and doing more of the same, but being very conscious that you can't just simply blueprint and transfer knowledge. Environments are complex, they're diverse, there's many different socioeconomic and political and biophysical aspects of agriculture that have to be taken into account. So the work by Mark Shute and others within the work of the Roots, Tubers, and Bananas program and collaborative work within the CGIAR has really focused on scaling readiness and being able to develop that process and practice. We can see with the institutional change embodied by the Scaling Readiness Group within the Roots, Tubers, and Banana program, an exciting opportunity that has really been able to focus on getting innovations to scale. And there's a good literature here that I would refer anyone interested to. But the idea here is to really be able to identify and determine how innovations at scale are contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals. There's been toolkits developed and also performance management indicators and systems, monitoring and evaluation for this work. So just to wrap up, we can see where capacity is concerned that we need more work that develops collaborative stewardship and innovation projects. We need to focus on the co-investment strategies for adding value and partnerships to what's already happening, for instance, what's happening in the CGIAR, but also across countries in the global south, but also in the north. This is a global issue, digital transformation and agriculture, and we're all in it together. And we should try to avoid duplication and share resources in the people and process areas of OFE. So thanks very much for joining me today.